You're now watching.
That's all right. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Blooper.
Yeah, that's exactly.
All right, repeat that. You are now watching.
Practicing bad habits.
You are now watching. Dang. You see, look, I'm not always perfect. You are now watching Practicing Bad Habits.
Crazy for this one.
I'm really one of them ones that say it and go get it done. I'm really one of them ones, no matter the challenge, I'm never gonna give up and run. Back on the wall, I'ma still do what it takes. The pressure ain't making me break. They wasn't good and I'm still feeling great. And I'm still open to all of the hate. Yeah, ain't nothing stopping me. Go get some property, I'ma start playing Monopoly. Yeah, ain't nothing stopping me. Act like she blocking me, ended up getting on top of me. Yeah, ain't nothing stopping me. Not giving props to me, but these little niggas is watching me. Yeah, ain't nothing stopping me. I go and get it. I bet you my niggas gon' copy them niggas that get in the booth and do sessions that you only see from the legends. One of them niggas that never forget how I got it. I always be counting my blessings. Hit my account and I make it repeat and repeat. It counteract all of the stresses. Niggas be watching, I notice, but still never speak.
Absolutely no games being played in here today.
Ain't no games being played in here today.
Dave, this is like a great movie. We got the part 2 already to it.
I know, but bro, it's the champ. He's worth a part 2. He's
Action-packed movie.
Worth more than a part 2.
Bro, this is an honor. You know this, Dave. We've been planning and plotting on this part 2
Bro,
for the
we've been
longest.
talking about this like it wasn't even funny. While you were editing the first one, we were talking about the second one already.
Yeah, Bam Bam. What's up, baby?
Chilling.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the champ. Welcome back, man. Listen, we got that man in the building like I told you last time. And we were just backstage, just chopping it up. And we wanted to know a few things. So, Dave, I want you to kick it off today. I want you to ask some questions that you left on the table last time.
All right, so this was a big question I had last week. I'm a big fan of boxing. And as things in boxing have been going lately, we've been getting more of these, like, social media influencer, Logan Paul, your Jake Paul. You get retired MMA guys, these dudes who weren't pro boxers. They were famous in other things, and they're hopping into your sport. I want to get your feeling as a champ, a 2-time champ, undefeated champ. How do you feel about this? Like, what does this make you feel as?
I mean, you gotta think, other than the sacrifices we make, it's also an entertainment sport. So they are bringing a lot of entertainment to the sport. Only thing that I don't like is how much money they're making. Like, they make...
Right off the rip.
Yeah, millions off the rip compared to someone that's worked their whole life and hasn't touched nothing near that. Like, they make more than a champion, like somebody that's holding the main titles.
Yeah,
I don't like that fact, but other than that, they do bring entertainment to the sport.
Now, you say you like the entertainment aspect to the sport, attention to the sport. The sport's already had attention.
Yeah.
When we talk about reaching the level that you've reached and holding 2 belts, we're talking about the work you had to put in, the dedication you had to put in from day one. These guys are building this stuff off social media fame, things that because someone liked the content they were posting online. If that was the case, you could have probably came up with a gimmick yourself and bypassed all the training, all the hard work and dedication. How does that aspect of it affect you, champ? To know that they're just basically sliding in based on popularity.
I want to say I really don't care for popularity. I don't care for none of that. I come in and I just do what I do because I'm blessed with what I have. Those guys, they kind of basically cheat the system, so they don't really know what it is about hard work. But then again, some of them do work hard. Like Jake Paul, he works pretty hard. But, you can never hate off another man's strive. Like, you got to take your hat off to him. Like, he's doing what he got to do.
He is the one who I will say is starting to give me a little bit because I do watch him actually work out. My issue with him, I think, is if you're really going to go the professional route that you've taken, let's stop handpicking some dudes who aren't boxers. Like, start taking some of these young and up-and-coming guys to start fighting. You know what I mean? If you're going to for real commit to being a boxer, I think he should start fighting some more low-ranked boxers and trying to prove where he's at if he's for real going to commit to this. Like, He seems to take it that serious. I would like to see that, as a fan at least.
I like the question, Dave. I like the perspective of it, but I would love to hear Champ's answer because that, I see where you're going with it, but I also hear Champ.
Yeah, same
I hear
here.
Champ. Champ is just about his business. He respects another man's hustle and grind. Yeah. But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I don't see him doing that though. Like I said, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
He's not gonna fight somebody that no one knows. Just like he's just making them millionaires now or making them rich compared to if you take somebody, like Mike Perry, they just fought like old fighters that decently have a name, and it's kind of like, oh, now he's fighting someone decent, but.
I think Champ hit it on the head from the very beginning because now that I'm reflecting on the question itself, boxing has always been an entertainment sport, an attraction sport. It's almost like it's somewhat of a circus. If you can get two interesting people in a ring, people will come see the difference in dynamic of those people. Okay. So I can see the entertainment value in that. The butter beans from back in the day, there was a lot of guys that just was okay, let's see what he got tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. So I appreciate that though, man. Like you gave a true answer on that, and that I really wanted to get from somebody as a fan. I gave you my personal opinion, but I always wanted to hear it from someone in your situation who's put in the work, who showed the time in, and I appreciate that. So now getting off that one, I had another question for you. What are your thoughts on some of your other possible people in your boxing and your possible could be future opponents, like a Ryan Garcia, with stuff like he's saying? Do you think he might go a route with getting banned from, what is it, WBO or WBI?
WBC.
WBC. Do you think he's going to go to another route, or do you think he might pull what like Logan Paul and them are doing? Because he pulls a lot of people for fights.
I don't even know what's up with Ryan Garcia. That man, he's a mess, honestly. I don't know if it's like, because then he's talking about God one day, but then he does like crazy things. I don't know. I think he needs to go to like a mental hospital.
That's the answer I was looking for right there, because I just wanted to know how Champ truly looks at the situation. Go ahead, B.
So the question that I have though for that is like, don't you think that might be just I guess one of the, I don't want to say conspiracy theories with Ryan Garcia's is, but people are saying that he's doing that on purpose to draw attention to himself.
But it gets to a point though. It's been happening too long now. It's like constantly something else with him. I just don't get it.
And it's more of a distraction at this point than I would see the value in attracting people. But that's a great question, B. But is that becoming more distracting now too? Is for someone who's completely taken away from the sport with the rhetoric, the racism.
Another thing that I hate. Yeah, like they take away. Like boxing is boxing. I don't know why it's turning into a whole bunch of other things now. Like especially with him. Then supposedly he was taking substances, but it's not showing up. Like I just don't get none of that. It's like almost rigged at this point.
I love talking to Champ because he speaks his mind. Go ahead, Dave.
No, that's this boxing is sport is just like that. Like for reality, like you as a boxer, you want to knock somebody out, but like that's just something that got to scare you when you go down. Like your last couple fights have been down to a decision, so to let a judge decide on how you did, whether you win or lose your title based on that, boxing's been surrounded by controversy like that. And you even yourself, when you spoke about your amateur, you felt like your one loss that you had. You didn't feel like you really lost that, right?
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel going down to a decision, man? Like I know you love the knockout, but does that worry you a little bit sometimes when you get down on them, waiting for that decision to come in?
Not my last couple fights. I knew I won like
convincingly.
Guy didn't touch me at all.
I saw the last fight, and he
he
basically toyed with him until he was ready to put him to sleep.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it got to that point where I already knew. It was literally I go in after I won the first round, like I won that one. I won the second round. Like it just kept going to the point where once I got halfway through, I'm like, all right, let me just turn it up again now.
Yeah.
I just love the confidence though. Like I just love it. Like he knows, like he can sit here and like when he gets back, just here sitting here and listening, saying, I won.
Absolutely.
It makes me feel a little bit better when I'm watching and like reading your body when you're getting back into the corner. That's how I'm going to read when I'm watching your fight. Like, I know you're going to think you're winning every fight, but, like, that seeing that mental of your body posture, your body language, of how you speak.
But you should also take a look at his opponent, too, because they become more and more frustrated. At the one thing I noticed, they can't hit him. It's very hard to hit the man. That's why he goes in the ring looking the same way he walks out. Like, there's no scars on his face. Like, look at the dude. Like, you can tell he doesn't like to get hit at all. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of people who don't like to get hit, one of the questions about controversy in boxing, Floyd Mayweather. his situation right now. How do you feel about that, champ?
What about his upcoming fight?
Now, is it an upcoming fight or being stuck in Dubai? Where are we at with the situation?
He was stuck in Dubai. I guess he had owed somebody some money.
Now, how does that sound?
I don't even know how is that possible. How do you just owe another real man some money? Like,
And
on
you're
what?
supposedly a billionaire in boxing. You know.
That's what I'm saying. People just stuff starts to unravel.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have another surprise guest popping in real quick. So we're gonna be right back. We're gonna take a quick break. D, Bam Bam. We'll be right back in a few minutes. All right.
Yeah. My presence is deadly. When your agent get on the track, it ain't nothing for me to be ready. Good with the handle without any hesitation. Do it finesse when it comes to fighting.
Right back at you. We just had to let my man Jay Bryant back up in the studio. What up, Jay?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How's the day going so far?
It's a rough morning. It's a rough morning.
You know, you gave me that impression that you had some weight weighing on you heavily. On your heart
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
What's going on?
Well, something that Bam Bam said last week.
What?
Yeah, something he said last week about his family, where he was taken away from having fun as a kid, like the parties and hanging out and things like that.
How did that affect you?
Well, this morning I woke up to see, and I don't even know these people, but a 13-year-old girl was shot last night.
And yes,
Shot and killed.
yes,
You know,
yes.
at a party.
Dave brought that to our attention
Yeah.
this morning. Breaking news that
Yeah.
a 13-year-old.
Yeah, and it's sad because, you know, we have kids,
Yes.
and I can't imagine what their parents are going through.
Yeah.
We all raise our kids different, but credit to his mom and dad for being stern and sticking with their guns on his path.
But also too, like I said last time too, Jay, about this man. Credit to him because he made that choice. You know what I'm
He
saying?
made that choice. He wasn't
know.
rebellious.
And even though he said,
Right.
"I feel like I missed out,"
Right.
he
He
still
did.
made the
Right.
sacrifice to
He-
do
right,
something bigger.
Right. You didn't miss anything.
And that's something I also said, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jay. And that does weigh heavily on our hearts because, again, that's a 13-year-old who never had a chance to fulfill any aspect of her life, really.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And again, gun violence. You know, champ, we talked about what are some things people can do to get more focused last time, to find themselves and to know what it is they wanted to do, they want to do in life. Let's get back to that for a second, based on the conversation. You hear about something like that. How does it make you feel, first of all?
Nah, I mean, it's very sad to hear. It's only 13 years old. You never knew what she could have been in life. She could have been the next mayor. She could have been, anything very important in the role of Harrisburg. And to see her life being taken away because she wanted to have a little bit of fun over a little bit of gun violence that she probably wasn't even involved in the situation. It just hurts.
And being in the role of a leader, and someone who's setting examples for people, I'm sure, you want to put Harrisburg on the map. And that's from the sports perspective. But once you achieve that goal, once you're recognized as a leader in this community the way you already exude yourself, what are some things you would do to help the youth? What are some things you would do to point them in the better directions? If they have goals and dreams, what are some things you would do to kind of help them step in the right direction? What are some things you possibly can do?
I would like to, come to maybe a couple schools and talk to the kids, show them a little bit about boxing, bring in my stuff, maybe see if they get a little bit attached to it. Maybe even some basketball events, whatever, just come in, talk to the kids, tell them, there's a different path, even though, I came from the same place. I sat in those same seats. I know what the distractions is, and I know. But now look at where I am because of the sacrifices I made, and, anybody can do it.
Now, Jay, you're hearing Champ speak. Is that stuff that's still relevant in today's education system, the school system, or athletes or people who have achieved things in their life still going into the school systems and setting an example? Are you seeing a lot of that still?
Yeah, and one thing that I don't know, well, I do know a few people, but I would like for Antonio, like guys like Chris Franklin from the Globetrotters, Micah Parsons, Shady, Pint Tate, they all come back to the city and do things for the community. Well, he needs to be part of that now because he's a champion, two-time champion, and he's part of the community. He grew up here.
How can we help him do that? Because one of the things Champ just said is, I would like to. Why is he not being invited into these establishments also? Because there should be a counselor, a principal, someone recognizing this man's worth is and what he's capable of bringing to the table and recruiting and opening the doors. Why are we not getting that type of invitation?
Well, everything's a phone call away. You have to have the people. Maybe some of his people don't know the people that we know, but he knows us.
But
So,
I think my pushback to that question, Jay, was why is the education system? Why is the school system? You know, because you need to be looking out there. Okay, how can we help these kids? But if you see someone from the city positive, they should be reaching out to him in an abundance.
and that's very true. And you got to remember, this is a football town. You know, boxing. I mean, I hate to say it because we're all involved in it, but it's secondary. And the only time they're going to take notice is when he's on top of the world. He's on every cable station. Then they're going to want to say, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Instead of getting this man while he's coming up.
And by then it's too late.
And by then it's too late.
Here's
because
why.
He will have other obligations.
And he's way too big of a star to really give the same passion and commitment that he's willing to do now. He'll be
Right.
way too much more distracted with what you have to do to maintain you and the level that you're rising to. So that's why I'm questioning it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like this man is available. And when would you be willing to do all this? At any given time, Champ?
Yeah.
Have you ever spoken to kids in school before?
Nah, not in school, but you know, kids at the gym. I tell them things like, you know, where you been at? Like, where you been? You should be here.
Your message needs to be much more widespread than that. You should be in auditoriums talking to these kids for at least a period out of the day, just to make sure the entire school is there listening to this. Because just like you said, it's a football town,
Right.
And I understand that, but it's also a sports town at the same time. And enough of these kids are not dipping into the different pockets of athletics that can help them stay off these streets and get more focused. So I think that's something we need to work on, and we should be able to help them with that.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you a story, and he can vouch for it. This is when he was in amateurs. I don't know if it was you or Angel, but you guys won a national title. Won the national title. Nothing was said. A baseball team from across the river came in second in the World Series. And Harrisburg wanted to parade them and show them off in front of the city.
Wow.
I made a call downtown and raised hell. I said, you got a national champion sitting right here in the city, and you're not inviting him to the parade?
Wow.
And they immediately reached out. Was that?
Yeah,
that was
me.
okay. That was
Yeah,
you.
that was me.
And they reached out, and they was part of the parade. They got in the car. They was part of the parade.
You
but
couldn't
that's
have-
what it took.
When you said secondary, that's a perfect
It-
example of secondary.
Right.
To someone that should be,
And it's
that's first
disrespectful.
class.
It's very disrespectful.
Dave, you mentioned something like that earlier. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, he's not just the only one. I mean, we had several. I mean, Alyssa Thomas is one of the best women's basketball player, and we hardly even speak about her in this area. And she is a great WNBA player, one of the best in that league.
Yeah.
And she and BamBam here, in my eyes, are two really great non-football players that kids should be
agree.
listening and speaking to. Like I said, this man has dedicated himself, giving up part of his life to truly focus on being a boxing champ. And we are not using his greatness and her greatness in helping pushing a more positive issue.
And
for
another
boxing.
slap in the face. This man is 10-0 right now, and he's going to be fighting next month. Why are we not hearing more about that? So it's answering the question. I'm asking rhetorical questions, but I want to know from the bottom of my heart is you tell me personally how we can help, support, get behind you in any way, and make this happen. You already got the deal here, bro. We got you. So listen, promotional stuff. We need to know who are you fighting next month? Do we know yet?
Well, my fight just got pushed back. They want to focus more on my brother for this fight.
Okay.
So he's gonna be fighting for his first title.
Okay.
Nice.
Because we were a little like, okay, so who's Champ fighting? We need to scrutinize this dude. We need to do all the homework on him so we can come at Champ like, okay, he's a bum champ. He's already lost 5. How we gonna handle this stuff? You know. So when has it been pushed back to?
They're saying November for me.
Okay.
You know, my last fight, it took a lot out of me, so I'm just still enjoying a little bit of family.
Took a
time.
lot out of you. You barely got to hit the last fight. You danced around this
Not
dude.
the actual fight. I mean the training for
Okay.
the fight, like how long it took, how much time it took away from my loved ones, and just last year, period.
So, speaking on your training, what are some of like the issues? Like, what do you go through? The hardships of going through? Like, I know with like dudes who are MMA, they really take a dive because weight cutting's really big. Now I know for you, you keep yourself in really good shape, but like, what are the struggles that you go through during the training camp? You know, like, is there certain sweets you got to give up? Is there certain like activities, something that I know you're going to sacrifice to push more for training because you're a champ. You want more.
Great question, Dave. Because champ, the reason why we're asking this because the last time you said I can't wait till the end of camp so I can really eat. So what is it? What's your diet like? Just to reiterate what David's saying.
Not much of a diet. It's more so picking better options and not eating as much.
Okay.
So not going to eat out and not eating past certain times. Eating a lot of smaller portions, and then like the last week, like real small portions.
How many meals a day?
At least 2 or 3.
At least 2 or 3.
Always, yeah. I try not to starve at all.
Okay. Yeah, that has a lot to do with energy at that point.
Yeah. It takes a lot out of you. Sometimes you go work out, whatever you just lost, you go eat it right back. It's like, what was the point of the workout?
Jay, you feeling all right, man?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You are a big brother around here, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to mentally, but this is his day. This is his shine.
It is, but my emotional intelligence is like, oh, something's wrong with your brother, and he's in the room. We're all doing the same thing. Let's find out. I mean, Champ is also here, a grounded man. I mean, I'm sure he can offer some advice too. You know what I'm saying? So
I just
let us have it, man.
Well, I just can't give. I have to give so much credit to his parents.
Yeah.
Because he's in the position that he's in because of his own decisions also, but his parents pushed it, and that is so important.
So, and continue to expound on that because it leads into what happened yesterday.
Right, and not to say that, the little girl's parents.
I got you.
It's just, look, we all went out. We all like to have fun. We're teenagers. That happens, but, it's just so sad, man. And I'm just having a hard time today,
And in this day and age, Champ, gun violence, how do you, and again, you don't go out. This is reasons why you don't go out. And someone like yourself would attract a ton of attention just from the accolades and the work you've put in so far. Is this something where, this should be the final straw, a 13-year-old girl? What would you say to the city, the community, the school systems? What would you say to these young boys out here toting guns, carjacking? What would you say to them? I mean, use that voice, use that old soul to just speak, man. This is the floor is yours, champ.
I would say, like back then, Jay used to promote hands up, guns down. If you feeling a little anger, you got something towards someone, you can simply just text me, call my coach, anybody. You guys can throw on the gloves and fight like men.
How corrupt? How bad is social media for the youth today?
Man, it's horrible. I probably wouldn't even have social media myself if it wasn't for me promoting myself on boxing. Like, that's all I do on my social media. I disconnected from everyone in Harrisburg. Like, I don't pay attention. Like, people say nicknames. I'm like, I don't even know who that kid is anymore.
Now, when you say you would disconnect from it, this is intriguing to me. Why?
It just brings a lot of negative things. Like, you see posts and then people talking about you and then you talking back to people and then you guys are going back and forth, triggers from one thing to another, and it ends up possibly gun violence and maybe even further on, because then it doesn't stop there. It keeps on going. You never know who's the enemy of your enemy.
And not only that,
talk to me,
because of his status and his brother's status, and you can speak on it because this is what I heard, and you can elaborate on it more. When you guys were at a football game, and just because they knew you guys boxed, they wanted to try you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you got in a fight in the stands.
Wow.
Correct?
Seriously?
Yeah, I had got in a fight, yeah.
And you handled these boys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's fools. You know what I'm saying? You don't challenge someone that's been preparing day in and day out.
But
he just an amateur.
But he went out to have a different scenery, to have fun.
To watch
and knuckleheads seen him. Oh, that's the dude that boxed. You know what? To get their reputation, let's step in.
But Jay, let's speak from experience. We've all been there.
Right.
We've all just been minding our business. Someone recognizes you, they know you, and for some reason, their balls just shrivel up because they get insecure around you and they want to try to prove themselves in some way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We've all been there.
But in that instance, something could have happened to him.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So that's why he says, I disconnect myself.
you know, one of the things that happened to me growing up was I was stabbed in my neck. You know what I'm saying? And that was due to being out partying and having fun and just being reckless. You know what I'm saying? So when I listen to the stories, I also can put myself in both sides of, in both positions. You know, someone who's doing right in his life now, but there was a time when I made those young teenage decisions. There was a time when I had to learn the hard way as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I clearly understand, but it took a lot of, from my coaches, my parents, but it was always laying in a hospital bed when everything just starts to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You got the catheter stuck up your, you know what, you got things propping your neck up, and you're in intensive care. It changes you.
Right.
It changes you. You know what I'm saying? You see life from one level, then you're seeing it from this perspective. It changes you.
Right.
You realize the first thing I did wrong was I made poor choices.
Right. And that's why I respect his decision.
Oh my God, that's why it's impressive.
Because he's
to me.
avoiding what you went through. At least trying to.
There's a saying in life, champ, and you're a testament to this. You either learn by brain or you learn by pain. But either way, you're gonna learn. And you're smart enough to never get hit in the ring. That's one. So that's telling me you don't like to learn by pain. So because you're smart enough to understand that's not for me. And that's why you should be more of an example, radiating in the school system, speaking in auditorium, from auditorium to auditorium, man. Like this man is that striking.
Oh yeah.
So
at some point, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be assigned a PR person that's going to make sure those things happen.
I thought I was doing my job already, but okay, fine. We can bring somebody else in here. We can bring someone else in here. That's fine. No. Listen, until they get here, I'm willing to be an advocate, one way or another, to make sure people know it's the character that we're getting from you, man. It's the vibe. It's just there. It's not something that you can coach into someone. It's not something you can tell someone to have. When you got it, you're a natural born leader, and you need to be in places setting and leading by those examples.
It's like you said last week. He was chosen. He knew. And the fact that how he went and goes about handling his business, the fact that he thinks and uses his head from where we're at, where we're growing up, how he grew up, you could just tell that he knew just in his head that he expected more out of himself. And that's why I think he truly also held himself to a higher standard.
Producer B, how you feel about that? How do you feel about the structure that this man is able to exude, and do you feel as if the society can benefit from someone like
Absolutely. See, one of the things that you decided to not become a victim, and I think that is something that is so powerful, because honestly, being transparent, even myself, that's something that I very subtly fell into at one point in my life. And the fact that you've been surrounded by that type of influence, and you're like, no, I'm going to turn the other way, and you were so focused, not only like they're saying it's a testament to your parents, but it's like it's that inner dialogue. Like, you've mastered that inner dialogue. And even when you said, of course, like, I want to go, I'll go up in weight, you know, and like, you know that eventually your time's going to come. Like that right there is a man that's focused, that's like dedicated, you have direction, and you know you're going to get there because you put in the time and the work to be able to do that. So that brings a confidence out in you, which is like, it's unheard of. It's not common. And that's why a lot of people need to benefit from that, because learning how to control the voice in your head, learning how to control anything in your head is literally the difference between where you're at now and where you could be. And that's something that even myself, I'm going to be 30 years old here in a few weeks, and you're 23 or 22. And the fact that I'm learning from you, that shows you something, you know what I mean? Because that you have something in you that anyone at any age can benefit from, and that needs to be shown, especially like they're saying in this area. You know, people need that. I don't want to say like a North Star, but something that they can look at, to aim at, to model. You know, to be able to.
I'm glad you said it like that right there, B. Chosen ones reflect to people around them parts of themselves that they can improve on. That's what chosen ones do. They've done so much in their life to improve themselves and take their journeys, that everything you're saying is part of what the chosen ones are able to, the energy that they give off is where each person that looks at them can see a part of themselves that they can improve on. So you carry such a responsibility that you don't even realize you're carrying it, man.
Right, that's why I had asked beforehand off camera. I was like, do you ever feel like too much pressure on you or anything like that? And now knowing this, he's like, I welcome the pressure. So it's like, I understand it, you know?
And
so
as a
like,
chosen one, he doesn't feel pressure, because
correct.
all he has to do is continue to do what he's always done, which is focus, work on his craft, be the best version of himself, and he will always exude, and he will always set those examples for everyone around him.
I had someone tell me the other day at work, if you take care of today, the future will take care of itself, and you are a prime example of that. So,
thank you for that question, Producer B, and thank you for your honesty as well. I know you've been on your journey for quite some time, and for you to be able to see something where you can pick up a few nuggets. I mean, again,
That was a great quote. I don't even want. That was what everything he just spoke right there. Truly, I mean, honestly.
here's another great quote. If there's an elementary school or high school that doesn't get in contact with this man this week, shame on you. All right? Shame on you. We're going to be pushing this. I'm going to make sure that this man's voice
it needs to be pushed because
classrooms.
the city, you got a key to the city. Am I correct?
Nah, they just gave me a declaration.
A declaration. Well, well, is that it? Okay,
I
just
know, that's
just a
crazy.
declaration, but
How many more people does he have to knock out in the
I don't know. I don't know too many people that get a declaration for the city in sports. It's
But the
very
key is so much nicer.
the key. Hey,
Yeah, I thought that's what they was going to
Come
do.
on.
They gave me a day though in Harrisburg.
yeah, they
as
gave him
well.
a day.
On
What
my
day is that?
December 13th, my birthday.
Big
as
ups
well.
to December 13th. How did they term it? Like your day, Bam, how did they say it? So I want to give the exact shout out they gave you.
I think they just say Antonio Perez Day. That's it.
I'm putting that on my calendar from now on. That's Antonio. I've never met
Also
someone
my
that had their
birthday,
day.
too.
You know what I'm saying? And big shout out to that day as well, man. Listen, I've never met someone that had their own day. You know what I'm saying? So again, here he is walking in here bringing something that I've never had experience before. So that's dope.
right. So I wanted to, and you know, we're speaking.
Hold on, you got your own day. That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I wanted to switch gears a little bit. I wanted to ask Antonio, because I know you fight at 135, and that's a hot division right now. I know you only have 10 fights, but do you look at some of these guys that you watch on TV and say, I can beat him?
Yeah.
I don't care if he has 30 fights,
Jay,
25 fights.
I could have answered that question for you. I know his confidence, but yes, champ.
So, and I want to know that because I've seen guys who've been put into championship fights with maybe 17 or 18 fights, and the guy might have 32 fights, and he's undefeated, and he's the world champ. And I've seen guys put in that position. Me personally, I foresee that for you. Your style, I believe you can beat the guys that's out there because they're not used to what they're going to see. They're not used to the quickness, your angles,
Elusiveness.
elusiveness. I talked to someone, and I said, Antonio, and people who's listening to the podcast might think I'm going too far, but I picture you beating Tank at 135 because Tank's not moving up, and I believe
Let's
you can
go.
beat him, and I'm gonna tell you why. The guys that Tank fights, they change their whole fight plan around his fight. Yeah. If you watch the guys that fight Tank, if you watch their previous fights, they're in front of you, they're banging, angle here and there. Mm-hmm. But when they fight Tank, they want to use the ring, they want to do this, they want to do the things that they're not used to doing. Yeah. They're doing things that didn't get them there.
Yeah.
Well, they move around the ring for the first 5, 6, 7 rounds. By the 8th round, they're tired.
Yeah.
And now they can't handle what they're not used to doing.
Exactly.
He can go 12 rounds doing what he did in the first round. He can do in the 12th. That's where his advantage is at. That's why I believe he could beat Tank. I don't think Tank could ever get to him. And he could be in and out, hand speed, that Tank hasn't seen yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just know
And
that
mentality, too.
I just know Antonio could beat this guy.
How do you feel about that, champ? What Jay just said.
Nah, yeah, what he's saying is true. You know, everybody changes their game plan. I don't never change my game plan. I go in there with whatever I got, and I make the best out of it. Those guys, they start running the ring because they know Tank starts off late, so they try to win every single round at the start. But, you know, you got to understand, it's chess, not checkers. Like,
Love that right there.
Listen. We're going to wrap it up for the day. Champ, are we going to see you again at some point?
Of course.
Listen, this is your home, man. Anything you got to say, anything you want to promote, market, and we're also going to be doing some things behind the scenes. Again, ladies and gentlemen, time flies when you're having fun.
like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications.